Hello, students, and welcome back. And let's talk about chapter two, which is kind of focusing on what is the frequency data. Okay, so now what is frequency? Well, when you kind of think about what frequency is, it's really is the number of time something that happens. Okay, and now let's see. The numbers may represent a count of how many people respond a given way or how many things you have in a given type of item. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyway, so frequency is something, how frequently something occurs. Okay, now let's take a look at data set 2.1. The psychology department at a local college is trying to expand its course offerings. The department has ideas of five new courses to offer to students, and then they include courses in psychology and religion, forensic psychology, psych and law, sports psychology, and criminal behavior. Okay, so at this time, the department is unable to offer all five courses, but could potentially schedule one or two of them in the upcoming semester. Instead of simply picking a course with two, the department chair thinks it's wise to see which of these courses students might prefer to take. To gather information regarding preference of these potential new courses, he surveys a sample of 200 psychology majors and asks each to pick the course that is the most appealing. Now the results of the poll appears below. So out of the 200 people that the chair surveyed, 25 chose psychology and religion, and 48 selected forensics, 21 were interested in second law, and 52 were interested in sports psychology, and then 54 chose psychology and criminal behavior. Okay, so what you need to do is now create a frequency table and graphs. Okay, so let's start with the Excels, and let me just put this over here. Okay, all right. So let's start a new blank workbook. Okay, so you just organize it exactly as how you see it. Okay, so course, religion, forensic, law, sports, uh, sports, criminal. Okay, okay, and B here. F stands for frequency. I'm just gonna write justify this. Come on. Okay, 48. Uh, okay, and then all right, so that's not 48. That should be 25. Sorry. Okay, so then 48 here, 21 here, 52 here, 54 here. All right, so that is looking pretty good. And then you don't really need to make this like a different um, graph if you don't want to. Okay, so then all you need to do is just highlight this and then go to insert. Okay, go to insert and then go to this. Create a 2D column. All right, so I'll do that again. That's a little too fast. Okay, so just delete this. So you want to highlight this. Okay, and then go to insert and then go to this thing over here, insert column, and then go to this. Okay, and let's get rid of the grid line. So you highlight this and you hit delete. And then let's make this the y-axis bars having something because its default actually has no uh, there's no color. Okay, so just go to this thing and then go to line and then go to a solid line and then you can pick the color. Let's say black. Okay, and I'm gonna while I'm at this, I'm going to make it black also. Okay, now the title. The title of this, your textbook tells you this. Okay, I basically just did exactly what. Okay, so course preference frequencies. Okay, so you just click on this course preference frequencies. Okay, and if you want to make some stylistic changes, you can just go to uh, this, and then you can click down and say that, say for instance, you are interested in the tick marks. That's something that I like. Major type, let's say cross. Okay, now it tells you where exactly 40 is and where exactly 50 is and so forth. Okay, that's it. That's it for this problem set. Okay. Okay, so we're done with that. Now let's start with a new um, spreadsheet, and then let's go to the next one. Okay, so basically we just did it exactly like how it's supposed to look like. Okay, so we're good. Next, so the histogram. Okay, okay, so basically it's telling you, it's showing you exactly the same thing, but you see that the issue is that um, the independent variable in this case, the category is indivisible, right? Okay, so if something is indivisible, then that means that it's nominal, it's categorical. Okay, so therefore it's something called the discrete variable. Okay, now when the variable is continuous, then we have to make it kind of come together. So you're probably thinking, what is a continuous variable? Well, a continuous variable is something that is in the same spectrum. So for instance, um, if the continuous variable is something like 1 cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee, and 3 cups of coffee, and so forth. So when something is on the x-axis and it's running in the same spectrum, then that's something considered as continuous. Okay, so data set 2. Well, it says 2.1, but it's supposed to be 2.2 as a typo. Okay, so let's take a look at this. A college administrator is trying to better understand the needs of students who commute to campus. He wonders how much time students spend commuting to and from school. To gain a better sense of their travel time, he surveys 100 students. Their responses are organized in the table below. Okay, so time in minutes and the frequency. So what this is telling you is that there are 4 people who whose commute is less than 30 minutes, and there are 12 people whose commute is between 30 minutes to 59 minutes and so forth. And then there are and so I'm just kind of skip down, and then there are 8 of them that are greater than 120. Okay, so now so what we need to do is do something that is very similar to what we did before. Okay, so let me just go to here. Let me start a new spreadsheet. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this over. So time in minutes. Okay, commute. And drag this, and that's the frequency that is observed. Okay, so we got less than 30 minutes. We got 30 to 59 minutes. We got 60 to 89 minutes. We got 90 to 120 minutes, and we got greater than 120. Okay, and the frequency that we're observing is 4, 12, 29, 47, and 8. Okay, so what do we do? So we do exactly the same thing like this, and we did exactly what you did before, like that. Okay. Okay, now we want to get rid of the grid lines. Now there's something with this kind of um, continuous variable is that they should all be kind of touching one another. Okay, and so how do we do that? Well, your book tells you how to do that. So you're supposed to go to the format data series, and then you want to change this to 0. Okay, so how do we do that? So you want to highlight this, right click, format data series, and then change this to 0. Hit enter, and voila. Okay, there you go. That's how you would change it. Okay, and now let's change the format axis exactly of how we did it last time. Solid line, black. That looks good. Okay, and now let's do the same thing for the x-axis. Okay, so we're good. Now our title needs to be fixed. Okay, let me do this also. So you will want to go to the tip marks here and then fix this outside. Outside or inside or cross, it doesn't really matter. It just as long as you can kind of see. Now, if something like this bother you, you're thinking that, oh, the increment of 5 is really annoying, you can format it again. You can say that I want to format this to become every 10 and not every 5. Okay, so when you do this, then you can see that now it's in an increment of 10. Okay, now let's fix the title. Okay, so the title, what your book tells you is that it should be something called time. Okay, now there's something else that is missing, and that is the x-axis labeling and the y-axis labeling. And then how do we do that? So you want to go to add chart element level, and then you want to go to chart, not chart title, but hold on a second, axis title. Okay, so axis title for the horizontal, and we're gonna add the axis title for the vertical. Okay, now what should it be? Okay, so this thing should be frequency. Frequency. Okay, and then down here we are changing this time in. Okay, now did we do that for this? Okay, so we did not do that for the previous one. So we should also change that. Okay, so psychology courses down here and frequency here. Okay, so to show you how to do that again, insert, no, sorry, not insert, but, huh, I think it's view, is it data, is it chart design? Yeah, chart design. So you go to chart design and then you go to data, uh, add chart element. So axis title, do this once for the vertical and do this once for horizontal. Okay, so should be something called psychology courses, right? Psychology courses. And then here is the frequency. There you go. Okay, now it's done. Okay, so your set 2.1 should look like this, and your set 2.2 should look like this. All right, now try to do it yourself. If any questions, feel free to email me or just watch the YouTube video again.